Welcome to Central Kalahari, Deception Valley. When I traveled to Africa this time, I wanted to create content with no limitations and less gear. Long story short, I got a new SONY A1 and headed into the Central Kalahari Game Reserve. What better place to test this giant of a camera in one of the most remote places on Earth for wildlife photography and filming. Back with the lions. I think they've just abandoned their kill. Join me in this video for a closer look at what I managed to capture with Sony's new flagship in the African wilderness. I wanted to make this video as in-field as it could possibly get with this SONY A1. It's very windy here today in Deception Valley, but I guess the Rode Video Micro and the dead cat will do an excellent job so you can hear what I have to say about this camera. I have talking points, don't you worry. I've had the SONY A1 for about 2 weeks now, photographing, working on my Lions photo project and filming for my stock video, wildlife stock video portfolio. But first things first, the image quality coming from this bad boy right here is absolutely stellar. It is amazing, the images you get from this, as you would expect given the price tag of a gazillion million dollars. It's a very expensive camera, but it is very good. Image quality, fantastic. Since I last used a Sony camera, the menu system has improved significantly, which makes it much easier for me to use now, and I was pleasantly surprised about that. And as with any other professional camera, you can do a lot of customization. I've set the top dial on 1, 2 and 3 for the 3 things that I use a camera for. 1 is for photography, 2 is for 4K filming, and 3 is for 8K filming. I'll get back to the specific settings for each dial shortly. This beast films 8K. I can make 8K time-lapses, and with 50 megapixels, it gives you a lot of wriggle room with cropping images. Now please feed this lion by giving this video a like. It's his favorite snack. If you don't know how to set these dials or customize them yourself, I shall show you. I will teach you at the end of this video. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel. It helps me make more and better content for you. Right, dial number 1 is for wildlife photography. So I've set it up to manual at a starting point of 1/2000 of a second with an ISO of 1600. I have the autofocus to animal eye autofocus with area focus mode. I found that works best for me. If you have a better option for autofocus, please let us know in the comments. And let me tell you this, the autofocus on the A1 is fantastic. It is so good. Coming from Panasonic before, it's just a major upgrade for me. It sticks. The eye autofocus, it finds an eye and it's glues to that eye every time. And by every time, I mean every time. It just works, and it also tracks beautifully when filming handheld. And that eye autofocus, to me, for one specific thing that I use this for, it is so good. When I need to get down low at a lower angle to get a more interesting perspective in a photograph, I often use a monopod and take it out of the car and hold it like this, out of the car. Let me just show you instead, so you can understand what I mean. I attached the camera to my Cobra 2 monopod that iFootage sent me. Big thanks to iFootage for that. And lower the whole thing outside the car. Then I use an app called Imaging Edge to remote shoot with. It is quite responsive, and in combination with a phenomenal autofocus, I've got some results I'm very happy with. That's quite cool. Just by getting a little bit lower outside the car, you get a much better picture in wildlife photography. And links to all the gear that I use on this trip, you can find it below, so make sure to check it out. Dial number 2, I've set to 4K filming, 422 10-bit, to produce the best possible stock footage I can, and to have cool b-roll of lovely animals such as this for the video. I have the same area focus for this and shoot in S-Log 3. I've heard that is the best log setting, and I found the footage really enjoyable to grade and color correct. I've included a few clips in a Dropbox folder so you can try color grading S-Log3 footage yourself. If you find that helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Programming these dials is a good idea to get the most out of the situation, especially if you are both taking photos and filming. When I've taken my photos, I quickly turn the dial and I'm ready to film for my stock video production or my stock video portfolio. It is windy, but it makes it more authentic, don't you think? Leave a like if you think it's more authentic with a little bit of wind here, some ambient sound for you right there. Hope this dead cat is doing what it's supposed to do to block out the wind. Dial number 3 I've set to 8K filming. And why would you need 8K filming, you might wonder? You probably don't need that unless you make 8K footage like I do. That's also part of the reason I got this camera. Filming 8K, 8K time-lapse and the super image quality. 3 in 1, just like a Kinder Surprise. One of the stock agencies I've signed with, they want 8K stuff. That also includes time-lapses. And with this beast right here, I can shoot both 8K time-lapses and I can film 8K video. It's very convenient. Just by clicking that pre-programmed dial. Convenient indeed. Now let's talk about build and handling. Yeah, build. I have found Sony cameras to be quite small, almost annoyingly so. But I have this thing called a small rig cage for my Sony. And that serves a couple of purposes. It is much better to handle. It sits much better in my hand, and that's very good for when I want to do something, anything with it. Makes a difference that it sits good in your hand with a small rig. And it protects the camera from when I put the camera outside to get photos of lions or whatever, get those low angle shots. It also protects it a little bit because it sometimes bumps down in the ground, bumps into the car, etc. Small rig, great option for your A1 for that protection and better handling. Makes it solid. You know, like a tank, like a proper tank. The lenses I have with me to Africa for this A1 camera is the 100 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6. Or is it f4? No, it's 4.5 to 5.6. And the 16 to 35 f2.8, both Grandmaster, G-Master. Is it Grandmaster or G-Master? From Sony. They're the top lenses from Sony. And that's all I ever need for my time lapses, for filming wildlife, for wildlife photography. Of course, I could go completely bananas and get a 600mm lens, but after getting this, I really can't afford it. Besides, with 50 megapixels shooting at 400mm on the 100 to 400 lens, you can just crop in and nobody would ever know. Who would want to lug around on a 600mm lens anyway? So much more versatile when you have a smaller setup like this. You can be quick about it. And I like that. Very good. Let me check for lions. And that's about it, boys and girls. After 2 weeks of using the Sony A1 out here in Deception Valley in the Kalahari Desert, in the middle of nowhere by myself, I think I am the only one here. I saw one car today, and that is just amazing, I would say, wouldn't you? This is I think it's the second biggest game reserve in the world, Central Kalahari Game Reserve is. And having this place to yourself with this camera and lions, I mean, what more can you ask for? What better way to test out such a camera? I can think of no better place to be. Okay, now we are going to program these dials, these 1, 2, 3 dials that I promised you. I will teach you how to do it. It's easy and it helps you be a more efficient shooter with your new Panasonic A1. By Panasonic A1, I of course mean the Sony A1. Okay, let's program these dials. First thing you do, if we are going to set up for photography on dial number 1 first, let's say, we're going to put the camera in manual mode, head over to menu, then scroll to number 2, which is the shooting menu, and then you select number 4 in the shooting menu, which is shooting mode. Now go right on that, and you go to the spot that's called camera set memory. We're going to go in there. We are going to choose number 1 here. Hit OK, like this, and it's registered. So whenever you flick to number 1 on the dial here, those settings will be there. Let's do the video. So I flick this over to video, like so, and I set my settings. For this slot number 2, mine would be the highest quality 4K at S-Log, which is picture profile number 8, S-Log 3. When that's done, when you've set your settings, your desired settings, I also had an area focus mode, area autofocus. You go back into the menu, go to the shooting menu, number 4, shooting mode, camera set memory. We're going to choose number 2 this time. So whatever settings you had now, when you flick over to number 2, the settings you just set will come up. For 1, I have my photography. For 2, I have now the best quality 4K footage I can have in S-Log 3. Like I said, number 3 on my dial here when I'm in Africa is set to 8K shooting, best quality 8K shooting. So now you know, it's very simple to set up, and I think this is a very, very important thing you do, especially if you do both photography and filming. It makes you a more efficient shooter with your very expensive new Sony A1 camera. But this goes for other Sonys as well. And just pre-programming cameras, it's something I've always done. Customize my cameras so I can be quick when I see different situations that requires either me taking photos or me filming stuff for my stock video portfolio. Now, let's get back to Africa for the final bit of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you, if you're still here, for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can leave a like, as I've said many times before, that it makes a difference, believe it or not. I wouldn't say it if it didn't make a difference. Also subscribe to my channel. It helps me make more and better content for you. Lion check. Links to all the gear I use here in Africa you can find in the description below. That's a good video. I hope it's a good video.